What's up, y'all? This is John, Mike, and Caleb back for another episode of the Nothing Finer podcast. As always, you can find us. Hold on, pause. We're breaking down all of the comedy that was week two, including the Georgia game. If you can't find it objectively funny, that was just a disaster in pretty much every way, shape, or form, you're listening to the wrong people. But you can catch us live on Millions on Thursdays, YouTube on Sundays with us here tonight, at the Rock House on Tybee Island for away games. But if you can't catch us any of those places on audio through Fansburg Sports Network, everywhere. And then for a little quick hitter on Rock 106.1 at 6:15 on Fridays. But how y'all been? What are you drinking?
I am good. I was in Charlotte for a Catholic conference this weekend, and it dawned on me while I was there that last time I went to a Catholic conference the day of a Georgia game, Georgia was playing Kent State.
That didn't go very well for Georgia that day, did it?
I don't think it did, and
So it's your fault.
I am seriously reconsidering the one that I'm planning on going to the week of the Auburn game.
Yeah,
But
don't do that.
yeah, the conference isn't during the game this time, so I think we'll be okay.
Will you
Um,
have buffalo chicken dip?
Uh, we'll probably have to go to a restaurant to get it, but that's the goal is to get it.
Okay. All
make
right.
make sure
All
that won't
right.
happen this time. As for what I am drinking, my wife found some lemons that were about to go bad, and when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, and when life also gives you a bottle of vodka that you bought last year and completely forgot about, you spike the lemonade. So that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of vodka, hey Wes, when you show up to Savannah for the watch party, for the Auburn watch party that you're coming to, I still have your bottles of vodka from like 2 years ago. Um, they're sitting in the floor of the office. Please take them. I don't drink vodka.
I don't either. I would not offer to take those off your hands, but I'm doing well. Busy weekend. Stanley had his first the first time we went marching band kind of performance at the Windsor and Beach football game on Friday. So that was pretty cool. They did a Lauryn Hill tribute. They did really well with that. So that was neat. My mom's in town. Hanging out with us, celebrating my two oldest boys' birthdays. So we, doing a lot of fun stuff and all that. Um, but thank God no football was played today because yesterday was way too much fun.
Yeah.
Whoa. There was a team with an almost identical logo to Georgia's that won today.
Do not recall. I lost the internet like in and out a lot of that.
Yeah.
Like,
What is
So
the
you,
NFL? I'm not
your
familiar
internet
with
even
such a
blacked
league.
out today. That's inconvenient.
golly, that was tough. I think we undersold the losses of Frank Ragnow and Ben Johnson. Not so much Aaron Glenn. The defense was all right, but yeah, I don't know. But how about you?
Doing all right. We got back a couple hours ago from the game. We ended up going out after the game, which I don't really do anymore. Um, so, finally got to sleep around 3 o'clock in the morning. My body was like, hey, man, it's 7:30. It's time for you to get up. So I am running on 4 hours of not even really sleep, like alcohol nap. I had a 4 hour alcohol nap last night. And my voice kind of gone. But I will tell you that I'm really excited, not just for this episode. This week is our first watch party on at Rock House on Tybee.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
three of us, we
30
were just
kick.
talking back and forth. We're working on getting some T-shirts with a new logo there. Over the weekend, all the decorations arrived in the mail, so those are in the house. We looked through them when we got home. Um, Man, I got this big 10 by 7 inflatable that we're going to take up there. We're doing a 50-50 during the game. We're doing giveaways with prizes for probably going to do best bark again. Get up, make some people get up there and make a fool of themselves. It's always fun.
Mhm.
Um, some trivia, got to look that up. Just some other fun games. Uh, and if you're not going to be on Tybee Island on Saturday, first off, you should be. It's a day game, so if you live anywhere close, drive out, hang out. If you have kids, Rock House has a whole arcade in the back. So just
Or
spend like a 20.
there's a beach like what 200 yards away, if that.
Yeah, yeah. That's where we're right next to the pier. It's cool. We're super excited. But not to mention game day is going to be at the Georgia Tennessee game. Wes is going to be at the Georgia Tennessee game, trying to interview Tennessee fans and send those to us.
That'll be
Sweet.
So
fun.
yeah, it'll for sure be interesting at least, you know.
Yeah, you should give them some trivia. Like ask the question of when was the last time a Kirby Smart coach team lost in Neyland Stadium?
That would be never.
That would be never.
I was about to
Let's
say
knock on some wood real quick.
even like what about when he was an assistant somewhere?
I'm pretty sure even at Alabama,
Yeah, they didn't lose
they
that
didn't
either.
No. So
All right, but he was a GA at Georgia at some point in the early
I
2000s.
I looked it up. I'm pretty sure he was a player last time he lost in Neyland because I have looked at this before. I think when he was a GA, they only played in Sanford, so it doesn't count. Last
Yeah, 'cause
time
he was
lost.
only a GA for Rick for like 1 year, right?
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure last time he lost in Neyland, he was a player.
And then he was a DB coach at Florida State. They never played at Tennessee. He was
Valdosta.
Valdosta
Didn't
State,
play.
never played at Tennessee.
LSU.
That would have been a fun game. As
Yeah,
somebody who's from Valdosta.
LSU never played at Tennessee. Never lost at Tennessee when he was there.
Yeah.
Wow, good stat. I'm sure that's not going to make it into a meme this week at all.
No,
Oh
no.
no, definitely not. Why would I do? Look, I have been informed that if we play a kind of bad game, I'm not allowed to talk trash at all the next week. So I just listen to that because
Just because
Yeah.
we didn't win 70-0, right?
Right, exactly. Why would I talk trash in a week where we didn't do that?
All right, so I'm a little public service announcement. And it's not for us, it's for listeners of ours that, or at least through our Instagram and that I meet in person at games. I get a lot of, oh, Kirby needs to hire you because you're a better coach than him. It's like, no,
No.
acknowledging that the team failed to do something or did something bad does not, in any way, shape, or form, mean that I am a better coach than Kirby or anyone that they pay. It means that I am a fan saying, hey, Kirby and staff and players, y'all set a standard. You're not coming close to it. I'm going to call you out on it because if we just ignore it, then you get what happened at Alabama.
Yes.
The
And by the way,
just continued to drop for years and years and years and years. And now they're talking about paying $70 million to fire a second-year coach.
yeah. And by the way, the positive you could take from this is if we've noticed something that's not working, they've noticed it too.
Uh-huh.
And we know that because they've got a track record of it.
Mhm.
Right.
So, again, nobody's saying they're a better coach than Kirby because we all acknowledge the things that went wrong on any given Saturday are things that Kirby's already looking at correcting.
Yeah. I do want to go ahead and get into some games because I think there's one game where some comedy happened that we need to talk about.
Yeah.
A few.
But, burying the lead a little bit on this because we're talking about the border war. Mizzou ended up pulling away in this one. They covered the 6.5 over a 49.5 hit. Kansas jumped out to a 21-6 lead at the end of the first quarter, blocked the PAT, and honestly, Mizzou's best looking offensive drive of the first half, which was right out of the gate. And then Mizzou just said, oh, wait, we play SEC football. Hold on.
Grown man football, baby.
Yeah. 42-31. So they did win, and they covered, surprising me a little bit. Bo Perbula actually, if you're talking about quarterbacks that played legitimate competition in the SEC, arguably the best day by far.
Yeah.
30 of 39, 334 yards, 3 touchdowns. He ran for quite a bit. Kevin Coleman Jr., who we talked about in the Picks episode, played at like 4 schools before Mizzou. But he had 10 catches for 126 yards. And former ULM running back, they could have used him on Saturday, Ahmad Hardy, 115 yards on the ground. Jamal Roberts had 143 yards. on 13 carries and a 63-yard touchdown. Jalen Daniels played somewhere between 2022 and 2024 Jalen, because on the ground he looked good. His passing needed a lot of work, 18 to 30 for 223 yards. He did have 3 total touchdowns and 1 interception.
He did have a couple fumbles, though. He didn't lose those fumbles, but he had trouble holding
Yeah.
on to the ball.
Yeah, that the state of Kansas football is down bad right now.
For sure. Oh gosh, yeah. Kansas State. They didn't lose to the FCS team, but they did lose to the team that lost to the FCS team, which was very funny.
Yeah.
So is Tarleton State the best school in Kansas right now?
People are asking. Oh man, yeah. I will say, when I did watch the tape of this game, it looked like pretty much exactly what I thought it was going to. Kansas did look good, especially their run game. Ultimately, like I said the other day, it was the physicality and the experience of Missouri that ended up getting them the win, which is pretty normal for Missouri. They tend to win the games that they should. That's why they very quietly had a lot of very quiet 10-win seasons. So now they've got a relatively high-profile win, which is something they haven't really had during that time, unless you count a meaningless bowl win against Ohio State. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do with the momentum going forward.
Hey, looking at their schedule going forward, they have Louisiana. I mean, that's not Sun Belt Billy, not there, so that's not going to be a problem. But
even if he was, it would.
Got UMass, and then so I mean they're going to be 5-0 going into the Alabama game at home. So I mean,
that's Alabama.
That's going to be interesting. Yeah.
That's a nooner as well. So
is Fox in charge of that one? How is that a noon game?
I don't know, but they got Bama. Then they got at Auburn, at Vandy, A&M, Mississippi State, at Oklahoma, at Arkansas. So
yeah, Mizzou could sneak their way to 11-1 this season.
And they could also be the best 6-6 team in the country, because
that's true.
All of the teams that weren't good on that schedule last year are significantly better. Like Auburn, not going to say they're good yet, but they're getting scary, right?
Mississippi State might have had the best win of the weekend.
Mississippi State with Blake Shapen. I tried to say it during the offseason. I was like, I'm not completely out on Mississippi State, because we didn't see a healthy Mississippi State last year. But then, John Mateer just looks like, he runs the ball on top of being arguably the most accurate passer in the SEC right now.
Yeah.
So
and they go to Vandy. Vandy beat Virginia Tech like soundly.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man.
34 straight unanswered points to beat Virginia Tech in Lane Stadium.
Yeah.
Heck of a finish there.
Mm-hmm. So for Missouri, they're not going to be the 6-6 team I think we all picked them to be going in this year.
But guys, the SEC though is just super top heavy. They have like 1 or 2 good teams this year, and everybody else is super mid. They're not going to accomplish anything.
Yeah.
We're talking about
the next
going to accomplish nothing.
Yeah, the next game is not going to make that last take age.
Oh, talk about funny.
Yeah, this is very funny.
We started the series on social media last week, funniest outcome possible, and
2 of them hit.
Yeah.
2 of them hit. One of them, I got the score fairly close.
Yes.
But USF covering 18.5 at Florida. I will say, out of the 3 of us, I got that one right.
You were undefeated in game picks this week, which is very impressive. Bravo. And you only lost one of your bets too.
I know. And speaking of bets, I accidentally put all my bets in twice this week, and it was not alcohol induced. That was I accidentally double tapped the button.
Well, it worked out for you.
It did.
Yeah, right.
It did. But yeah, so the under of 58.5 hit. Funniest outcome possible is the very first note here. And let's put it like this. I was eating dinner in a restaurant in Athens. We watched like the second half of the fourth quarter in Athens, eating dinner. The last time I was in a place in Athens that popped as loud as it did when USF hit that field goal was when I was in a bar in Athens watching Tennessee lose to Georgia State. And I think this is a more monumental win for USF and more detrimental for Florida. Because even we
Mhm.
talked about it, like as Georgia fans, we were talking about Florida has the potential, if they stay healthy, to be a playoff team. And they were healthy on Saturday. Maybe not mentally, maybe not their livers, at least the fans, but like their joints were together. Trey Wilson had a hell of a game. Led the
Mhm.
team in
Yeah.
receiving yards coming off of a hip surgery. So, we didn't expect this game to be this low scoring. Um, but man, Florida, the defense reverted to 2020's defense for Florida. And
Yeah.
that, if y'all remember, 2020's Florida defense, they had on average one player ejected per game. They
Yep.
lost a game
By
because they
throwing a
had
shoe.
from throwing a shoe. And USF's last drive in this one, if you didn't watch the game, just watch the last like 10 minutes of game time
It's like the
because
microcosm of Billy's like whole tenure there,
oh
and
yeah,
really this decade of Florida football.
USF goes like 3 and out, punts the ball. Florida decides, hey man, we have DJ Lagway and our running back has over 100 yards in this game. You know what we're going to do? We're going to pass twice with
Yeah.
like 2 minutes left in the game.
Makes all the sense in the world. We're up one. It's been a hard fought game. Let's try to run the score up a little bit.
Well, and like when USF lost, they missed that long field goal with like 3 minutes left or
Yeah,
whatever it was.
That
It
should
felt
have
like it was
been
over.
over.
Yeah.
It should have been over.
The team reacted like it was over, and then
Right.
Yeah.
incompletion, run for like 2 yards. South Florida timeout. It's like, oh,
Offensive genius Billy Napier, everybody. Round of
Uh-huh.
applause.
but then as soon as USF got the ball back, the defense just said, whatever, because pass interference, 15-yard penalty on like a 3rd and 12 for USF.
Yep.
And then they got USF to another 3rd down, and a Florida player spits on USF's quarterback. Jalen Carter taught us it's not the right move.
Correct. You watched Jalen Carter do that on Thursday, presumably, or have at least heard about it.
Right.
And then they just decided not to tackle the running back going down the sideline. 30-yard gain. And then 10-yard gain. And then 4 yards. And then 4 yards. And if USF really wanted to embarrass Florida, they could have punched it in for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Easily.
I was rooting for them to do that. They tried a couple of times and then
Mhm.
said, "Now we'll kick the field goal." They had one more shot if they wanted it.
And this, like, Florida fans, I understand you're angry.
Yeah.
One, it's your fault. Name another time that an athletic director or university has put out twice in 2 seasons a statement saying that they're not firing their head coach. I can't think of a time.
Right.
It's
And by the way, both times the boosters are like, "What? Excuse
right.
me."
And so Florida was actually able to move the ball well during this game. DJ Lagway, 222 yards. Jaden Ball, close to 100. And then the defense just 2020'd it. They Dan Mullen defense this game. And with Florida, we were both right and wrong about them this year. They have a talented enough team to make the playoff. I truly believe that. I know DJ's a redshirt freshman, essentially. He still makes mistakes. But he is extreme. Like, the talent level that God gave him is significantly higher than any Florida quarterback has had since probably Tebow, if we're being entirely honest, because he's more
Yeah.
talented than Anthony Richardson.
Oh yeah.
But Florida coaching lost them a game where they had 355 yards in a home night game. It's unacceptable.
No, yeah.
And based on the post-game footage of the coaches' boxes, Florida coaches have given up as much as the defense did late in that game. It is a sad, sad state in Gainesville. And the joke about if Saban pays Kalen DeBoer's buyout and comes in for the rest of the season, we should be asking that question about Steve Spurrier and Billy, because This is the first time the University of Florida lost a home game to a team from Florida not named Miami or Florida State since 1938.
Yeah,
It's a long time.
that's a very long
That's
time.
You're breaking almost century-long records here, and not the
Yeah.
kind you want.
Right.
Like, Florida fans are embarrassed, and I honestly feel a little bad for them.
Yeah. DJ Lagway will not be playing football at the University of Florida next year, by the way.
No.
That dude is out of there. And you know, I was hoping if this result happened, I was hoping that I'd be coming on here talking about the DJ Lagway hype train is derailed, but it was not his fault they lost this game. Side note, I did go in and do a find and replace in the Google Doc to make sure we now spell Florida correctly, Florida with a capital L, because that has started
in the graphic and in the episode title.
Good. I'm glad. So yeah, we've got it in the notes as well because we got to make sure we do that. Florida with a capital L from now on, everybody, in case you're listening.
The first.
Yeah, the first one for now, and then we'll add them as they get more of them. Florida was ball looked really good, but they weren't getting much on the ground, as much as they should have been getting against the South Florida defense. But this game and the Ole Miss game and the Alabama game last week and the West Virginia game have taught me that putting up 1 million points against nobodies is overrated. Calm down, Bobo haters. Look at what the team's doing this, and look at what they're doing.
Yeah, and so a couple things I have to say about it. So going back to the picks, obviously I put them all in the doc when you guys did your preview for it. I think I went over, which is the first time in like 3 years. I'm pretty sure I went over. So that's tough. But
yeah.
I mean, going in the game, I knew for some reason, like I knew better. I still ended up picking Florida just because what we were talking about in the off season. But after the loss, there was a former player that Billy had at Florida, basically just like railing into him about like how bad.
There were multiple players in that Twitter thread. Like he was just
the
the one that had he's just the one that had like a story to back up why everyone hates Billy.
Yeah, I'm trying to find his name again. I had it and then I lost it. But anyway, I mean the name doesn't really matter. He's not really anybody like noteworthy or anything. But he basically claimed that he got a concussion while he was at Florida, and after 2 weeks, he still wasn't medically cleared. Billy called him in for a meeting and said it's that player's fault that he wasn't cleared and needs to try harder. Parents who were both, I think they were both, at least one, I think both were both Florida Hall of Famers or whatever, and they called Billy and he's like, yeah, it's just a motivation tactic. Don't think anything of it, but pretty sick. It's definitely pretty damning for him. But the Fire Billy chants after the game were pretty funny. Not gonna lie. I mean, his seat is hotter now than it really had been at any point last year, if you ignore the preseason stuff from last year. But that might have been the most enjoyable game of the entire day.
Yeah, the player, by the way, was former tight end Jonathan Odom.
There we go.
And it was Jacob Copeland
who started the thread.
The thread. Yeah.
What is Billy's buyout right now?
That's a good question. I'm sure that's a pretty commonly Googled thing right now.
Yeah, that's the first thing that pops up when I put in Billy Napier.
85% of his current contract remaining, which would be $19.3 million after this season. So more if they did it in the middle of the season. With
50% of it, so about $9.5 million coming, being due within 30 days of the firing.
Yeah, which is wild. By the way, DeBoers, I know, or Yankee Magoo, as I like to call them, not to derail it, but I don't know if you've seen his buyout structure in his contract, because people keep talking about, it's $70 million. We can't do this right now. But it's $70 million paid like monthly over the course of the next several years or something. They could do that right now if they wanted to.
It's like $1 million a month, I think, is what it broke down to. Yeah,
something like that. That is something Alabama could do now if they wanted to. So don't sit here thinking they're stuck with Yankee Magoo.
Yeah.
And man, it is wild how Florida got down bad so quick. It's funny.
Yes, it's very funny.
And we're all here for it.
But
I really just want to know what it's going to take to get Jaden Ball in Athens.
Oh, I'll do it. I'll put it down right now.
Right.
By the way, to the people who are like, "Why are you laughing at Florida? You look better if Florida wins all their games, and the SEC looks better if they all win." I would love for every SEC team except us to somehow go 0-12.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Mhm.
Yeah. In the 12-team playoff, it doesn't matter who your wins are. It just matters that you win.
Yeah.
All right, we got to talk about Michigan, Oklahoma. And Mike,
No.
you
No,
have a lot of family members who are Michigan fans who comment when I talk badly about Michigan.
Yeah.
They deserve
They
it. Though.
just deserve it so often.
Well, especially after this game, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, so obviously, if you're listening to this, you know Oklahoma covered the 3.5, the under a 44.5 hit. This was second funniest outcome possible. And I don't understand how an offensive head coach in Sharon Moore has as much talent as Michigan has. They're paying $12 million for a true freshman quarterback. They got the trainer Justice Haynes, who is by far the best player on their team and probably a top 5 player in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those two apparently don't like each other very much, by the way.
Well, it's all better now. It's all good, at least for
I'm
now.
sure.
How do they still have one of the most boring offenses of a ranked team at the time? I don't even know if they're still ranked. When I wrote this, they were. How you have a senior and a freshman in Bryce Underwood having to get pulled apart on the sideline. Meanwhile, the $12 million quarterback is not half as good as the running
Michigan
back.
dropped 8 spots to 23.
Yeah.
I will say Bryce Underwood has been done a significant disservice with the offenses being called for him. I truly believe this is a James Coley level of mismanagement of talent on the offensive side of the ball. They're playing extremely conservative. They're putting 8 offensive players in the box and with no motion, and they're just like, "Hey kid, we know that you were the best athlete in the entire state you grew up in."
I mean, it's not saying much football-wise. Yeah.
But they're like, "Hey, we know that you've never had to read a defense in your life, but we're not going to give you any help, no motion, no spreading it out, no anything. Learn how to read coverage in the middle of playing, I don't know, a top 20 defense in college football." Like,
easily, yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And to Oklahoma's credit, they made Michigan's defense look silly for a decent portion of the night.
Yeah.
John Mateer has already impressed me to the point where I think he is currently the best top 2 quarterback in the SEC.
Not going to argue with that.
And playing a significantly higher level of competition than the Mountain West that he was in last year. And he looks just as good. He's running the ball. He's passing with extreme efficiency. He's using his eyes to get the safety to go the other direction. And meanwhile, hitting a guy that's got nobody within 15 yards of them. I mean, John Mateer looked awesome. He ain't getting $12 million. Like, Dave Portnoy appears to make a bad investment because Michigan's just like, yeah, we're only going to take this. I'm not going to call it a Ferrari, but we're only going to take this, like, Mustang 5.0 in 20-mile-an-hour speed limit zones. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You have receivers, you have running backs, you have a good offensive line, you have a good quarterback, and you're running an offense that y'all are beating hardware stores in the 30s with. Like, get your head out of your ass. It's insane.
To use an analogy that Georgia fans should be familiar with, if you're Bryce Underwood, when do you start just risking the reckless driving arrests with that Mustang?
I would agree with that. Like, at some point, you have to say, "Hey, coach, I'm either done and I'm redshirting and transferring, or you call plays that are actually effective." Because I didn't come here to look like an idiot for my freshman season.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty gross for the most part. So, like you were saying, it looks like they're still running the same playbook from last year when they literally had a quarterback that was a make-a-wish kid that couldn't throw a forward pass. It looked a lot like last year in that sense. Defense still looked pretty good for the most part, in my opinion. Tier did some magic. I mean, he was dead to rights a few times, and he was able to get out of some shit and then just find guys like wide open downfield because I would assume the rest of the defense is like, hey, I covered this guy for like 7 seconds. I should be all right. And then it wasn't. But Michigan does need a little bit more reliable pass catchers around Bryce Underwood. Samaj Morgan, probably his best receiver was, and really his most reliable receiver was concussed near halftime. He got hit kind of late, and then he got knocked down. He stumbled off. I mean, he obviously was concussed, and I think they let him back in the game. I could be
Mm.
wrong. But yeah, he wasn't really doing much after that point. The tight end, and I forget his name off the top of my head, that they leaned on a lot against New Mexico. He kind of looks like a Colson Loveland clone. He had like 115, 120 yards in that first week. He was in a boot or a cast or something. He didn't end up playing, so they were really uh, playing with their hands tied behind their back a little bit at that point. But Michigan also lost like three major pieces on their offensive line so far this year. I don't know if it's the level of like Georgia injuries or anything like that quite yet, but um, I don't know. I mean, their stud like offensive tackle they got as a freshman that was supposed to protect his blind side. I think he's out the entire year as well. So they got some work their work cut out for them. And then they got Sharon Moore suspended the next two games against uh, one of the I think Western Michigan and then or Central or whatever I don't know whatever direction of Michigan school. And then they got Nebraska for Sharon Moore being suspended for, which might not be a bad thing. We'll see. But
Right. Like if they force somebody else to call plays and he can't be there to tell them no, are we going to get competent offensive play calling?
well, I don't know if he's the one calling plays. They brought in again I can't remember his name off the top of my head because I'm about five Coors deep right now, but in the last like 20 minutes. But um, it was the guy from North Carolina that was I don't know I can't remember his name, but
Chip Lindsey.
yeah, there we go.
Chip Lindsey
Yeah,
run. But here's the thing. Chip Lindsey's offensive scheme is borderline air raid. So there's no
that's
way
not what they're
he's
doing.
calling these
Yeah,
plays.
Yeah.
yeah. The one run that Justice Haynes had, I think they had seven offensive linemen, and that was the only time it ever worked. 'Cause, I mean, the rest of the time it was like 2 yards in cloud dust, not even three or four. So,
Mm.
but I mean, kind of I think this should be more of a thing about Oklahoma. Like, I mean, I said before the season started, like I thought Oklahoma had all the makings of being like an 11-1 team, honestly, and I still think they do. They look like they could be a serious threat in the SEC if Mateer can and that defense to still keep it up like they did against Michigan on Saturday. But yeah, he's legit, man. He really is. He proved any doubts that anybody had about him coming from Washington State. I think he changed that.
Yeah, and you could be right, and your family could be right that I just am biased towards against Michigan. But like, how do you have a $12 million quarterback and treat him like he can't run an offense? Like, spread
That's
it
what they're
out.
doing. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
yeah. No, I get
They
some shit about it as well. But like, it's disgusting. I mean, that was nasty. I knew better. You know what? Going into it, I'm like, you know what? Oklahoma's gonna win this game, kind of going away. And then I'm like, you know what? Maybe not. I can't pick against them, but yeah, never again.
Yeah,
I,
like you're paying this kid $12 million and you're starting him right away, presumably because you're paying him so much money. Like the least you could do, even if you don't trust him with the keys, if let him go out there and sling it around anyway and get the experience. Because if you don't trust him with the
Hmm.
keys, you're not winning anything this year anyway.
Yeah,
yeah, they didn't try to do any downfield stuff. I mean, it was all like dink and dunk shit that wasn't getting past anybody in Oklahoma.
And
And
it's not
credit to
like they
Brent
were trying to
Venables,
save anything on tape for later because this is your big game.
right?
it,
And like credit to Brent Venables. I mean, like he did everything that everyone said he was going to do. He's going to try to confuse Bryce, and it probably did to an extent. But
Mm.
you know, oh well. That's usually
and
what happens in Michigan in games like this.
and
Usually,
when Bryce got out of the pocket and started making it up, and the players, like the receivers, went on scramble drill mode, was the best the offense looked when he
yeah.
was able to escape pressure and just find somebody open. And it's like if that works so well, including the catch where your receiver pinned it to the back of the guy's helmet, why do you then try to go borderline I formation, run up the middle? Like I don't.
Mhm.
Why is that your two options?
They were not able to do anything running the ball largely for the most part all game, and they
Yeah.
all did the same three fucking plays.
You would think they learned so much from so many other teams' offensive playbooks the last few years, and they didn't use
That's
any of
fair.
it.
That's fair.
Hey, Hey, Chris Phillips met up with Connor Stallions in Norman. So Connor's
Nice.
still there. He's still in the shadows.
Yeah, he's still hanging out.
Well, he
Could have
didn't
used
have
them.
anything for the Wolverines this week. No news.
Clearly.
Could have used them. What is it going to take to get him back on the payroll?
Um, Probably
Several
the
years show
NCAA
cause.
to yeah, probably the NCAA to just completely disband.
Hey, it could
Uh,
happen.
It could happen. Or they
all
could at
right,
least get their hands off of football very soon.
Yeah.
all right. So Georgia game, Austin P at Georgia. The line did come out on Saturday morning. Austin P was 46.5 point underdogs. They covered that 46.5, and
Yeah.
the under of 56.5 hit. And here's the thing. I understand that a lot of people are upset about the score of this game. And honestly, with how boring it was.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say that I am perfectly happy with what happened on Saturday, because I'm not. But Georgia was never in danger of losing this game, or even
Mhm.
close to being in danger of losing this game.
Yeah.
This was legitimately the most vanilla, boring, like eyes closed missionary game plan that Kirby and the staff could have come up with.
Yeah.
It's not like Kirby's not the guy that's trying to prove a point and he's going to go beat ULM by 73 or Grambling by 70. He doesn't care. He wants to win and he wants his guys not to get injured. He
Yep.
did one of those things on Saturday.
Sadly, not the other.
Sadly.
Right.
And his big thing is he doesn't want to put anything on film. So right before the half, that was the only thing he put on film. And I will say, y'all can argue, people in the stands started yelling 8 overtimes against Georgia Tech last year.
Yeah.
They ran out of 2-point plays. Very well known fact. You cannot tell me that they had 3 chances from the 2-yard line where they've been able to run the ball at 6 yards a clip, and they just did 3 2-point plays because it is Austin P. You're not losing that game. They don't care. They're like, hey, this is a chance to practice against guys that don't know what we're doing in a real live game for something we might need later on.
Yeah. The goal at that point, when they knew that Austin P was not going to score enough points to come out, they're not trying to go up another touchdown against Austin P.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, obviously the weather delay, that I believe that had an effect. There was
Yeah.
What game was it last week? Was it an NFL game with a weather delay?
No, I think it was another college game. I don't remember what the game was, but there were the pictures of the storm rolling in.
No, there was like in the last. I thought it was the Eagles game that had a weather delay.
You might be right.
Yeah. No, it did. It did.
Okay,
It did.
yeah. So you're talking about professional athletes. The team that beat the Kansas City Chiefs prevented them from three-peating by 40 points in the Super Bowl. That team came out in the second half slow, lethargic, and didn't do a whole lot. So I
And
get
still
it.
won.
It still won.
Yeah.
So I get it. But Georgia ran 4 different plays in the second half. Outside of like 2 or 3 third downs, it was 4 separate plays. And it was a screen to the right, screen to the left, inside zone, and slant. That was all they did. That was the extent of the second half play calling.
Pretty much all out of one concept, too.
Yeah.
And for good reason. Because they don't want anybody to get hurt. And what Kirby cares about in that moment is he wants to see, all right, we're down a right guard right now. But who's the backup at the other 4 spots on the offensive line? What wide receivers can I trust that are going to go out there and block in real game time? Which running backs can pick up a blitz? That is what we learned in the second half of that game. And this was a joint practice at the end of the day. And Austin P is legitimately a good FCS team. Their offensive line is good. I said it last week. People on Instagram in the comments told me I was crazy. And I'm like, I don't think you understand.
Mm-hmm.
Middle Tennessee can be dog water. You're still not getting moved a 15-yard wide gap by the offensive line just because the other guy's bad.
Yep.
That's not how that works. And lastly, for me, there's nothing better that could have happened before an away game in Knoxville where Tennessee is favored, at least through FPI, to win that game because Kirby is going to have that on the bulletin board all week long. He's
Look at
been
what
throwing
happened the
all over
last
me.
2 times FBI thought Tennessee was going to win that game.
Yep.
Right.
Like, this,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that I am happy with the game, but if this is going to be the outcome, boy, I'm glad that next week's Tennessee, because somebody has to get punished.
Yeah. Before I say anything else, can we all just, because somebody's going to come out here and say something no matter how many times you say it, but can we all just acknowledge and put on tape? I'm not happy with Saturday's performance. None of us think that was good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All of us think that didn't go well and we need to work on everything that didn't, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Great. So before I continue, guys, why are so many people going insane over a game between Georgia and an FCS team that wasn't even on television? Like, that can't be good for your cardiovascular health. It just can't. I just, I learned a long time ago, we cannot judge Georgia based on these kinds of games. These sleepwalking FCS games we always have. Do y'all remember the day that I met you for the first time in person? And I promise it's related.
Yes.
Yeah, the Sanford game. Yeah.
Sanford, yeah, 2022. Very frustrating game for us because we saw a week before what this offense could do, and it just didn't look the same against
And
Sanford.
that was what the second game. That was a game. Yeah, it was the second game.
Second game, there was weird weather stuff going on.
After coming off a national championship, all that.
Yeah.
Which that's
Yeah.
invented all of his guys back. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and just a weird day that we couldn't finish drives in the red zone. They weren't really trying to get explosive plays. This game felt like that game to me,
Mm-hmm.
where we just weren't trying to accomplish the things that the fans wanted us to accomplish. And the good news is the week after that game, we had our SEC opener in a tough road matchup against a heated rival with a new promising transfer quarterback who'd put up some solid numbers against lesser competition. And Georgia won that game 48-7.
Mm-hmm.
So again, people are going to say, well, we don't have Stetson at quarterback and we don't have Todd Monken at OC. Whatever. There's every chance we'll be completely fine. I'm not hitting the panic button. Someone clearly told Gunner yesterday not to run the ball and not to throw it downfield.
Mm.
Whether that's the right way to handle a game like this or not is certainly something we could discuss. But the fact is that we have seen this offense already be much more dynamic against a similar defense already this year. So it's not like they just intentionally decided to nuke themselves and never used what made them work last week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whatever you think of Bobo, even he's not that stupid.
Right.
Realistically speaking, too, without 3 mistakes, the 2 fumbles and the drop by Cash, we win that game 49-3.
Yeah.
Without even really trying. So would you rather be Alabama right now, putting up 70 on ULM after getting blown out by Florida State? That my find and replace affected that one too. That's very funny. Would you rather be South Carolina right now, whose offense only scored 17 against South Carolina State?
Or Clemson against Troy.
Yeah.
Trailing for most of that game.
Right. Or LSU. Okay, great. They've got a big win. They also struggled to put up points against Louisiana Tech or whoever they're playing against. Like, Oregon put up 70 this week. Is that supposed to impress me? They played against Todd Grantham.
Yeah, they played, not to mention Oregon State also was trash last season.
Yeah.
Toontown.
Yeah. No team in college football has consistently had a great offense this season against good competition. But ultimately, it was a weird game on a relatively weird week of college football. Honestly, that's good enough for me as long as that's not the approach Kirby's taking. And based on his faces throughout the game, it's not. So I think we'll be just fine against old Bobby Hill and Knoxville like we always are, but I'll talk more about that on Thursday, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I mean, I agree with pretty much everything that y'all said. I mean, it's going to be a very vanilla game plan going into the game. Like I said before, it was always going to be closer than it was the previous week against Marshall. But I did love when I saw the defensive line and linebackers. I think they're a better overall unit than they were last year. I feel way more comfortable with that than last year, at least at this point. We'll see how that goes going forward, but do feel good about that. But I don't know if I want to say that necessarily, but game day is going to be in Knoxville, like we mentioned earlier. Personally, can't wait for Tennessee fans to pull the crap that they normally do when they beat up on an FCS team and drop 70 on them and score first on Georgia at home and then end up ultimately getting blown out. That's going to be fun, hopefully. Knock on wood. But I do think it's safe to say that Joey Aguilar is in fact an upgrade over Nico,
Yeah.
who just lost to Dan Mullen in UNLV.
Yeah, that's a low
And
bar though.
the last play of the game was an interception.
Yeah, that is tough. But
from the league leader in interceptions.
Yeah.
Or you're talking about from Nico? That was
Nico's last play of the game at UNLV was an interception.
How is that an at UNLV? Why would UCLA do that?
Because UCLA is a joke of a program.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. All right. Y'all ready to get on to awards?
Yes, sir.
Yep. This one was a hard one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So who's going first? And I got the last one, so I'll take defense, but y'all can split the other two.
All right. I'll do offense then. Offense it's got to go to Nate Frazier, who came in looking, in my opinion, better this week than he did last week. 14 carries on 69 yards. Nice. 2 touchdowns. Very nice to see him get a couple of touchdowns in this game. He did have an early fumble, but came back strong and just put people in the dirt and kept drives alive. And that's really what you expect from a guy like Nate Frazier.
Yeah.
Defense, Ellis Robinson didn't register a tackle all game because he shut down his side of the field until they threw the ball directly to him. And that that's kind of what we thought he was going to be when he came into the program. And then he didn't play last year, but boy, is he showing that he probably should have this season.
And then Lumberjack got CJ Allen, 7 tackles, 5 solo, a sack, and 1.5 tackles for loss total. Really, in the league performance, and he was all over the field, laying that lumber, as the award would suggest.
There was one play where I thought he knocked out their quarterback on the sideline, and it was an audible ooh that came out of people, at least in our section.
Yeah, you could hear it on the ESPN app.
Because that was and then freshman of the week.
So Walker went 16 yards. He drove right over Orange Church, just driving and running with those big guys. My God, a freshman.
Is Chauncey Bowens, redshirt freshman, but he may be top. He's definitely top 2, but he could make an argument to be the most effective running back on the team right now. Average 5.1 yards per carry, had 2 touchdowns. His just instinctual ability to change his pad level and run through a tackle is something that I don't think we've seen by other backs on this team quite yet. Because Chauncey will get low and run through that tackle.
He reminds me a lot of Dejan.
Yeah,
I think that was something that was missing last year.
But that was a ton of fun. And before we do finish up on this game, I want to give credit to Austin P fans. We were in the section right next to them. After the storm delay, their band was not back out there, but the friends and family, it was a lot of their fans that were out there. They were loud. They showed up. They were excited. And then right when Austin P got to the goal line, they started talking trash.
Oh, no.
And then it was like, all right, y'all, like we just as a stadium with people who were left, we were not loud. We were not obnoxious. We were cheering. And then you wanted to turn, like, one of the players' moms, and she had his number on her shirt, and I don't remember what it was. But she started, like, turning around and yelling at Georgia fans. And it's like, lady, we respect you, but you should probably stop.
Right.
Because we can be louder and more obnoxious. And we're choosing not to be.
Yeah. Don't mistake our mercy for weakness.
Yeah. But, they were loud. They were there. And then the mascot tried to talk a little trash with a sign. And it just, man, like, I get it. Y'all are good. And I think y'all should be probably a top 10 FCS team this year.
Oh, yeah. And they came to play in this game. Like, they were ready to go. And they actually kind of backed it up more than Marshall did last week.
Right.
But come on now, y'all.
Yeah.
Get back to reality here.
Mm-hmm. Up, there goes gravity. Up.
I was going for that. More successful than Michigan's offense this year. So
thus far.
Mike, your family
keep telling yourself that, man.
By the end of this episode.
I'm sure. Maybe we don't post it. We'll see.
But yeah, no, that was all right. So closing up here tonight, guys. Come see us at the Rock House on Tybee this weekend or any of the away games. The Auburn watch party is going to be nuts. It's Pirate
Mm.
Fest on Tybee. It's a night game. I've got family coming in town. Wes is going to come in town. Some of Kelsey's friends are coming in town. We're super excited. Um, we're gonna have a good time each and every watch party, and we'd love for y'all to be there. But best way to find out about what we're doing is on our Instagram at nothing.finder.pod, our Twitter at finderpod, or Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Just look us up. You can find us there. Please rate and review the show 5 stars. Share it with your friends. That's the best way to help us out. And importantly, remember, there is nothing finer in the land.
Then a Florida team losing to
I was going to make that joke too, Mike. Ah.